Welcome, one and all, to the Undisputed Nerds Podcast. I am your host, still Senpai Zane, only so long though, allegedly. As always, I am joined by my fantastic co-host, the gentlemanly Namer.
What's happened to your microphone? Your microphone's gone funny.
Has
Hello,
it?
everyone in Radioland. Does mine sound weird? Does mine sound strange?
No, I'd say yours sounds
No.
great.
Yours started cutting in and out then when you were. That's why I looked so baffled. I was like, "Hang on, is he deliberately cutting out parts of this that he doesn't want me to hear?" I'm not sure. It was a few weeks ago that he didn't refer to me as a co-host, so I'm starting to think, maybe he started to like mute my section, deafen me on certain parts, just so I can't hear.
No.
For his last week only, gentlemanly gamer. Way of sacking me without telling me.
I apologize if there is any technical difficulties.
You sound better now. I think it's cleared up now. Yeah, it might have just been when we transitioned into live, it went a bit wobbly, but don't worry, I'll be sure to call you out live on stream if it happens again.
We can add it to Undisputed clips, which are also available on YouTube.
Well, no, because those clips were only about when you were right.
I mean, the editor does a fantastic job regardless.
Yeah, he does a great job. Yeah, I love him.
Can't dispute his talents.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to lose that senpai part of your name. How are you this week, Zane? I haven't spoken to you for most of the. Well, actually, that's not true. I have spoken to you to go have you seen it? And then you went, yep.
Yeah, it's a lot of our conversations these days.
Save the content for the show. That's why.
Yeah, that's why we miss out on gold. Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. I stayed up late and I binge watched all of MODOK, the
really?
robot chicken sort of animated show.
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. I feel like it was one good episode away of being great. Do you know what I mean?
I wonder what you were going to say. I felt like it was one good episode in a 13 episode series.
One thing you'll really like actually is they have Wonder Man in it, who's voiced by Nathan
Wonder
Fillion.
Man?
Yeah.
Not Wonder.
Not Wonder.
Yeah, okay. Not Wonder as a man, but no. Wonder Man.
Wonder Man, yeah.
Right. Got you. I was very confused for a minute then.
I know. I felt confused saying it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Wonder Man. Why would I be excited about that?
No, because it's voice cast by Nathan Fillion.
Oh, well. That changes everything.
Now that changes everything.
Get the fanfic ready.
Plus, I wondered if it was kind of like a mini Easter egg, because he was supposed to play Wonder Man in Guardians Volume 2, because they made posters for the cinemas, didn't they?
Right, he was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, whatever happened to that? Guardians 3. I didn't even tweak with that. Yeah, I mean, he's been rumored to play everyone, hasn't he? So it's not surprising.
Yeah.
They missed the boat with the Uncharted movie. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I know, right? How you been doing anyway? You good?
I am all right, man. We're in a heat wave in England again. It seems like every week I say this, but yeah, it's really hot here.
Humid and stuffy, doesn't it?
It's boiling. I went out onto the street and me and my wife were walking down the street and I just got attacked by flying ants. I'm like, what is happening in the world? Why? We're in one of the most moderate climates ever, and I'm getting bitten by flying ants. And I'm like, something's wrong here. Something's not right. Global warming. Let's not get political on the show, but all signs point to yes, folks. That's all I'm going to say.
Climate change gone mad.
It is. The ants don't even know what they're doing. Getting my tasty pound of flesh, but yeah. No, I'm doing all right, thank you, mate. I am very happy it's the weekend, and it's been an interesting week as far as nerdy news is concerned as well. So there's lots of stuff. It's not going to be a bumper episode like it was last week, where we both just finished watching Black Widow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Shall we jump into some news, some
Yes.
tits and bits.
Some bits and tips. Bits and tips. Yes, let's do it. Let's drop in some bits and oh, actually, before we get started, the one thing I did, the one thing that did happen this week that was amazing was what I sent you. The video I sent you of of our favorite actor, Richard E. Grant.
Yes.
It's amazing. I can't remember what it is, but basically, guys, there's what I can only describe as a trippy, hallucinogenic Richard E. Grant video on YouTube, which is called Richard E. Grant's Prozac Party, and it is the most random, overacting part of Spice World that you'll ever see. And if you're wondering what our scale of acting talent, which is measured by Richard E. Grant movies, if you're wondering what the most extreme Spice World-esque overacting is, go and watch Richard E. Grant's Prozac Party on YouTube, and it will give you all you need.
It's like a supercut of like wild one-liners.
Wild one-liners, like or just like bizarre parts in the movie that are then like repeated over and over again. It's just the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gold.
It's when he says let the like in the film he says let the feathers fly. That's what he says. But they cut it so it sounds like he's swearing. So he just goes let the beep beep. And his face is so into it, like angry. It's amazing.
It's every time he calls Roger Moore. He's just screaming about something. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that thing. When he says, he's just randomly walking and he says, "We find the kids and we drown them." It's like, what is going on? For those of you who don't know, for those of you who haven't seen Spice World the movie or Richard E. Grant's Prozac Party, you'll have no idea what we're talking about. But trust us, it's amazing.
It is.
And he is amazing. Glorious purpose.
Did you see the interview he did with Vanity, where they spoke about the pitch for Loki and stuff?
Weren't they going to put? Is that the one where they talk about he was going to be in a muscle suit?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I did see that. Can you imagine that? That would be amazing. Sometime they'll bring him back as a Loki variant, and he'll be in the muscle suit.
They have to.
Yeah, I still think I'm still clinging on to that hope that he's someone else.
Yeah. So
we'll get onto that.
We'll get to that in a moment. Make sure you stick around because we're going to be talking about the finale of Loki, and we'll probably discuss where we think it will go as well in terms of how it affects the rest of the MCU.
Most definitely.
As we mentioned, we're going to dive into some news. So I saw this on IGN, and I think it comes from NYT, which I'm not quite sure if that's some sort of news outlet, but
New York Times.
Oh, wow. That makes a lot of sense. Apparently, James Gunn was offered a Superman film when he was originally dropped by Marvel.
That surprises me a lot. That not that he was offered the role, because he's the role. Not that he was offered the film, but like they're making another Superman movie. Because, historically speaking, they haven't been that successful, unfortunately, guys. I mean, the Christopher Reeve ones were, but is there any more details on that apart from?
Well, again, going by IGN, when James Gunn was first let go by Marvel, DC approached him about working on a Superman film. He eventually went with Suicide Squad.
Wow, that's mad. That's mad. I mean, Suicide Squad fits him like a glove. Like, that is exactly the kind of thing I would have expected James Gunn to do if he wasn't working for Marvel. But Superman, that's bizarre. I wonder what they wanted to do with it. That kind of excites me in the sense of I wonder if they wanted to do, because I'm a big proponent of having Superman go into space and not be Earth-based. Like, I'd really like to see some adventures of him where he goes to either he goes in search of Krypton, or he goes to Apocalypse, or War World with Mongol or whatever. I can't remember his name. That is his name.
Yeah.
I would love to see some otherworldly adventures of Superman. So maybe they were planning on doing that, like throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. Because let's face it, DC has absolutely no coherent vision. Come at me, nerds.
Yeah, it's I really do wonder where he would have gone with it. Like, in terms of if he were to pitch something together, like what would he have done? Would he have gone straight into space and made it kooky, or would he have stick with Earth? Like,
was it going to be I wonder if it was going to be like a direct sequel to Man of Steel as well, or if it was like or Batman, Superman, whatever, whichever Batfleck one you want to lump in there. I said the magic words. You smiled immediately. Look at that.
I heard it.
But yeah, that's very interesting, man. That is very interesting. If it had turned out like a Thor Ragnarok, that would have been awesome.
Wow, that's a great shout.
You know what I mean? Like, it would have been really good. I know it's not. It's Taika Waititi. It's not James Gunn. But the whole Marvel cosmic universe was created basically by James Gunn in Guardians.
Yeah, it was Launchpad. Yeah, it was definitely.
So
right.
Everything that happens in Thor Ragnarok, whilst it was obviously Taika Waititi's like vision, like the influence of James Gunn was just all through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it would have been very interesting to see. I'm kind of happy the way they've gone with Suicide Squad instead, because I think they're going to get a lot more out of that, and it looks amazing as well.
Definitely.
Me and our mutual friend can finally agree on a Suicide Squad movie. He doesn't listen to podcasts anymore. He'll never hear this. It's fine. It's fine. I can say what I want about him. Jerk.
And there he is, like liking and sharing and subscribing, like you should all do. What else did I have here?
Black Adam's finished.
Yeah, so announced on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Instagram.
Thanks for saying that like nobody knew who he was.
I thought just
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Looking very Hulk Hogan in terms of physique.
Wait, hang on. So he's where does he sit on the Hogan scale? He's at full Hulk, is he?
He is, but definitely at full Hogan.
Okay. All right.
Maximum Hogan.
Full maximum Hogan on the Hulk end. Okay, good. That's good to know. That's our scale of Hogan, by the way, guys. If you don't know what that is, we've got an acting scale, which is the Richard E. Grant scale, and we've got a really hench Hogan scale, where you're either buff as F Hulk, or you're Paul Hogan from Crocodile Dundee. It gets you every time.
It's such a weird reference.
Of course, that's what we're all about. Yeah. When is that? Do they have a release date for Black Adam?
I want to say it's next year.
I thought so as well, but I wasn't sure if it was coming out. Is Shazam 2 the end of this year then? Because I thought Shazam 2 was coming out before Black Adam, or am I wrong? Have I got that the wrong way around?
No, I think you're right. I think it is supposed to come out at the end of this year.
Let's have a look. I'm gonna Google it. Yeah, I'm gonna Google it. Can't just drop in a piece of news like that, and apparently it's this year. Apparently, no, 2022. 2022. Okay. You're right. No, yeah, 2022. They haven't confirmed it yet, but yeah, it's penciled in for next year, which means that Shazam 2, I reckon, is coming out. I reckon end of this year. What do you think? You want to put a bet on it?
I would definitely say so, because we got DC Fandom coming up in the upcoming months.
According to this,
yeah,
it's the 2nd of June, 2023.
Oh,
Black Adam is coming out before Shazam 2.
Interesting.
Huh. That is very surprising.
But then I guess they are still filming Shazam at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, Grace Fulton. Oh. Mary Marvel. Just give me a minute. Carry on with the show, yeah.
So on Dwayne's Instagram, there was a little clip where he thanked all the cast and crew and such.
Huh? What? I'm back in the room.
Yeah. So yeah, he just kind of, as I say, did a little post of a video of him thanking all the cast and crew, and that's it. It's
I
wrapped.
thought you were going to say did a little pose.
He did wear like the weirdest little poncho to cover up his costume.
Oh my god, really? Oh, that's lovely. I love the idea of Dwayne in a little poncho. That's delightful. I really like that. Oh, I'd like to see that. We should get that as our mascot for the show. Just the Rock in a poncho. It's fun to say. Right. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I'm excited to see. I don't know how I feel actually about it. I just realised I'm talking about DC films. Yeah, it'll be all right. I mean, if they know what they're doing with it, then great, and they know where they're going with it, then great. But
it feels like it's been years in the making. Like,
the thing is, in the comic,
sure he was announced years ago to be in a DC film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's been Black Adam for like a decade without being in any of the films.
Yeah,
it's bizarre. The thing about the thing about it is, in the comics, Black Adam's not a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a real, Jaffa, and like, he does some really horrible. Like, he causes World War III in the books. Mm-hmm. So like, The Rock is such a thoroughly likable, personality that it's kind of like, are you doing this? The only thing I could think is that maybe they're doing it as like a Loki situation where they're trying to turn him into an anti-hero, and then he'll be like a main figurehead. Because like, otherwise, I don't know how they're gonna do. I don't really want to see Dwayne Johnson punch the head off of Zachary Levi, and then be a good guy. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's gonna.
I feel like this is like a Venom situation. Like, he's becoming less of a nightmare creature and more of a, another.
But Venom is like, I'm you and I. I'll draw myself back before I get into a Venom rant again. You and I both know, despite the films being, the one film and the second film that looks terrible, but despite them being bad, Venom in the books has been portrayed as a good guy. Like, he's been portrayed as like a lethal protector. That's what he's, his methods are dodgy, but he's doing it for the right reasons, if that makes sense, even though it's not good what he's doing. But like Shazam, Black Adam, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing, I guess. I suppose, because I think they've cast Isis and Osiris, haven't they, in this? Like, they've been cast in it. So Isis is his wife, and Osiris is like his. I guess it's like the Marvel family, like the Captain Marvel family, except it's like Black Adam's version. And
they're also doing the Justice Society as well. So you've got like Hawkman and you've got Pierce Brosnan as what's his name?
Alan Scott.
No, the Fate, Dr. Fate.
He's playing Dr. Fate? I thought he was Alan Scott. Oh my god. Wow. Okay. Wow, there we go. Interesting. An Irish Dr. Fate.
A James Bond as Dr. Fate. Which is hilarious, because he'll just have the helmet on and be like the powers of Namamu or whatever it is.
You just took Dormammu and put an N in front of it. Don't be ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure.
Don't be ridiculous, Zane. It would have been better as Timothy Dalton. I'm just putting it out there. If you want to get a James Bond actor to be Dr. Fate, it would have been much better as he's got a much better voice than Pierce Brosnan. Do you know what I mean? He's got a way better voice.
Absolutely.
Especially considering he can do really sinister, like when he's in Hot Fuzz.
Where he's like, doing his jog, and he's like, I'm a serial killer.
Yeah. I'm a slasher.
That's it, I'm a slasher.
Prices. I expect if we were to crack your head open, all kinds of secrets would come tumbling out.
Look at when he was, is it Rathalon in Doctor Who?
Yeah. Rassilon, yeah.
Oh, that was fucking, I swore. That was God tier.
Between the two of us, that is a rarity for that to happen. But yes.
I know, yeah.
He's not really a god tier. Rassilon's just he's the head of the council, wasn't he? He's the head of the Time Lord Council. And then he regens into a balding old man in the Matt Smith series. I still hate that. Biggest mistake they ever made. Again, come at me, nerds. Biggest mistake they ever made, bringing Gallifrey back. Biggest mistake ever. Should have just left it dead. It was much more interesting when he was the last of his kind. Anyway. Don't get me started on Doctor Who. Yeah, so there you go. Black Adam. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not looking forward to it. Cool.
Yeah. Sweet. What a plug. I'll tell you what else is a plug. Everyone's probably seen it by now.
Seamless segue.
Deadpool video that popped up on YouTube, on Ryan Reynolds' own YouTube channel.
Absolutely amazing.
First
Deadpool reacts to Free Guy, the upcoming Ryan Reynolds film about a computer game man who manages to escape the system, and he does a Deadpool reacts video, and he brings along a special guest, Korg from the MCU.
Yeah, fantastic.
I mean, I will be honest with you, I did not expect this to be the first Deadpool crossover with the MCU, but it works quite well, I guess. I wonder, it does make me wonder if he's working with Taika Waititi and stuff like that, if he's going to turn up in Love and Thunder.
Yeah, that would be great, because, I mean, it's no secret that they are good friends, like, outside of movies and stuff.
Taika Waititi's the bad guy in Free Guy.
Yeah, and he was like his assistant in Green Lantern.
Yes. Yeah, they don't talk about that though.
They don't talk about that though.
They pretend they weren't in that. Like, I can't remember what it was. Somebody did I think they were together for some reason, and somebody did a question of like, how did you two first meet? And then I think they said, oh, we were watching somebody else in this like weird science fiction film that was a comic book, like just denying that they were ever in it. But yeah, I would love to see him pop up in Love and Thunder. I can see him dropping in as a cameo or something in Love and Thunder. The video itself was hilarious. I mean, there's not much more to say about it other than like it's this very. If you haven't seen it, guys, go and look for Deadpool reacts to Free Guy, and it's just very, very funny. There's a bit where I can't remember what Korg says. I can't remember what he says. He's saying something about something about being a rock. And then it's just Ryan Reynolds' delivery is just so good, where it's just Deadpool just looks at him and then just goes, Jesus Christ. And it's like, it just killed me so much.
Wasn't it any tips on how to get into the MCU? And he's like, you got to raise all your expectations, like you're climbing a mountain or something.
Yeah. And then when you're down the bottom, you're looking back up and you'll realize you've done it.
Yeah, check your emails.
Check your emails, that was it. Yeah, it's great. I don't know what we have been proven on this podcast over the last few weeks to heavily read into stuff that turns out to be nothing. So I mean, I don't think there is any wider ramifications than this right now, other than it's very clear, very, very clear that they want Deadpool to be as part of the MCU as quickly as possible, because it's for two reasons. One, obviously it's a main Marvel character that is insanely popular, but also it makes a boatload of money. That is one of the rare Fox successes with the X-Men franchise. That Deadpool is so popular, and both movies made a lot of money. So why would Disney not want to kick off that gravy train again? And it's quite clear that they are doing. They've now got the whole Fox library up on Disney Plus, so they're not really afraid of R-rated films or anything like that. So do it, man. Bring it in.
What surprised me about this as well, because I think this is supposed to be the last movie produced by Fox.
Oh, Free Guy, is it?
Yeah, so that's what made me kind of giggle a little bit, because I'm like, oh, Disney have probably paid for all the marketing and promotion, and they're like, well, we may as well sprinkle some Deadpool on it. Like,
yeah, that's interesting. I did not know that. I did not realize that, because I know that there's so many weird deals going on in there, because obviously New Mutants as well, which came out last year, which I personally don't think is as bad as everyone says it is. It's not great. It's not great, don't get me wrong, but it's not as bad as everyone says it is. But that is, you can't get that on Disney Plus right now. They've got like an exclusive deal with like HBO or something like that. It's just it's just so weird how like the world of legalities and rights when it comes to these characters is just bizarre. Like I don't know who else is still. Have they got Namor back yet? Like is Namor officially back? Okay, so Namor's back.
Yeah.
So who's left to come back to the fold?
So
Spider-Man is obviously Sony, like that's you know, and that's never going to change. But like,
I think Hulk is still with Universal.
Oh, for solo films.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Marvel doing the little dodge by getting around that. We'll just put him in every other movie as Hulk.
Yeah, I think
that's it, isn't it?
Pretty much it. They've got Fantastic Four now.
Got Fantastic Four. They got Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I assume they would do now. Of course, they've got Daredevil.
Blade was with New Line Cinema, but they've got Blade back. Yeah, they must have like all their characters back then.
Yeah,
it's mad. Isn't that weird to think that like we're not even like halfway through like the MCU version of half their characters?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about the X-Men. Like, there's so many. It's gonna be it's some interesting times ahead, my friend. Interesting times ahead. Speaking of interesting times, spoiler alert, guys. I'm going to drop a spoiler alert for Loki. If you haven't seen it yet, please do not tune into a reaction to Loki finale. If you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it now. Welcome back. So it was revealed, I think today. I can't quote the source. I apologize because I'm not sure where it came from. So whichever source it came from, but apparently Kate Huber, I think we said the name was, the director of Loki, will not be coming back for season 2. Yes, guys, spoiler: Loki is getting a season 2. So, thoughts, Mr. Zane? Thoughts on them not? Kate Herron, that's her name. Kate Herron was her name. She's not coming back for season 2.
It's an interesting direction, no pun intended, but yeah, that's really interesting because going by a lot of her tweets as well, she was really passionate about directing the show and, you know, making sure certain aspects were shown and represented, like the idea that Loki is gender fluid and, you know, being, I believe, bisexual and things of that nature. So she was really passionate about those things. Again, going by her Twitter. So it really surprises me that she's, currently not returning for a season 2.
Yeah, she has said outright. So I'm reading from Polygon here. This literally came out. This is like hot off the press. But she said that she's happy to not return, and she's just happy to watch it as a fan next season. So yeah, she ain't coming back. It's not amazing though, is it? Because she did a really good job with season 1.
Yeah, that's very true. But I understand what she means about being a fan. I remember, not to go into another Doctor Who tangent, but I remember David Tennant saying a similar thing when he left. He was like, "It'd be really cool to watch Doctor Who again, but as a fan." Like,
I mean, I think she did such an amazing job with it, and I think that the issue I have is that it's difficult because I'm kind of like in the mindset of like I don't like change that often, but like so I don't know. I'm worried about how this material would be in the hands of someone who didn't care as much as she seemed to.
Yeah, and
so is it going to be ham-fisted in season 2, or now if it turns out that like, you know, Sam Raimi's taking it over to tie it in with like Doctor Strange, okay, that's a different story then, isn't it? But like by the same token, you know, I don't know. It makes me wonder, and I said this to my wife when we watched the finale yesterday. It makes me wonder if they planned this as a singular series, and then I don't know what the analytics were like on the show, but if this was their most watched show on Disney Plus, their most watched original show on Disney Plus, and then before the finale they were like, we should really do a season 2, because this felt very final and very like ready for Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So I wonder where they can go with it for season 2. That's the only thing I'm kind of concerned with. And it makes me think that maybe Kate Herron was only signed on for one season because there was only expected to be one season.
Yeah. I think I think you're 100% right in that regard. The only thing I can only imagine is the writer saying, I've got this one idea for a season 2, but you know, we'll see how season 1 goes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, if I know some writers have mentioned in the past that they have like a backup story that they'll do when it comes to like a second season if it gets greenlit. But yeah, that's the only thing I can imagine, because it is, like you said, very final. It's very, and compared to the other shows as well, because they've already said like there won't be a season 2 of WandaVision. It was just
right. Go on, keep going.
I was just going to say it's very self-contained in terms of this is Wanda and Vision, their journey, and then it tees up for a movie.
But what's funny about that is that so Falcon and Winter Soldier you can put to one side because that is definitely a self-contained. The next time you see these guys, it's going to be the Avengers, and this is going to be or the Captain America solo movie, one or the other.
Yeah.
So that one aside, WandaVision, there were so many questions left unanswered at the end of WandaVision, and that was 3 episodes more than Loki, and it felt like it was 9 episodes.
You forgot that.
Yeah. And like it was so many unanswered stuff at the end of it. Like was Agatha Harkness really on her own? Was like what's going on with Wanda? Like is she now a bad guy? Where's White Vision gone? Like what is he doing? Who was the FBI witness that we never found out who it was? Like all of the where's Darcy going now? What's going on with them? Like all of this stuff was just left completely open-ended. So if there was a show that needed a second season to explain that stuff, it's really WandaVision. And yet that's only going to get one series. Loki, completely self-contained. The only thing outstanding is what's going to happen to Loki and Sylvie. That's the only thing that is not going to be like that. That's the only kind of questions that I had from this. Everything else was like completely coherent and perfectly written to make total sense. And I was like, brilliant. Like, this is great. And then I'm disappointed that Kate Herron is not coming back for us. I guess, from this news, and then we'll start talking about the show. But from this news, I am disappointed that Kate Herron's not returning. I think she's been a great director. And I think that the quality of this show, I can think of one episode that was slightly slow, which was the, I want to say Lamentus, thank you. I want to say Invictus, but it's not Invictus. Yeah, Lamentus. The Lamentus episode. That's the only episode where I was like, it's a bit slow, but it's still really good.
Yeah.
And that everything else from beginning to end on this was amazing. Amazing. I would be very interested. Well, we'll talk about it in a sec. But yeah, let's get your thoughts. What do you think about the finale of Loki, Mr. Zane? Was it disputed or undisputed for you?
I would say it was undisputed, like hands down. And I was a little bit worried going to this as well, because I know last week we kind of speculated if it's not Kang, then... No, sorry, if it is Kang, it'll probably be a lot of explaining and exposition.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
The whole episode was basically an exposition dump, wasn't it?
It was, but it was handled really well.
Oh my God.
Like, not too much, but not too little that you have to try and like piece it together in a weird way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, there was some really interesting stuff. So I guess when they first, so that the episode picks up like straight after they've enchanted Alioth, and they go to this citadel in the middle of the. Well, we get actually first things first. We get a load of like. I'm not going to go through the whole list. New Rockstars did an amazing breakdown, as they always do, of episode 6. So if you want to see a full breakdown for everything that happens in terms of like Easter eggs and stuff like that, go and follow New Rockstars because they are amazing. Eric Voss is a legend. But we get like this flash forward intro of not all of them, but a lot of the previous MCU movies and
Yeah.
the voices of all of the a lot of the big players in the MCU. It's quite Loki bent, like it's quite he's quite the focal feature, because presumably the idea is that this is the timeline. It's the sacred timeline, and the voices of the occurrence on the timeline, and it's slightly focused on Loki because he's the main focus of this. And then it turns into some like Big Bang kind of like graphics, effectively.
Yeah.
That is as in the Big Bang, not the Big Bang Theory. And then we see two universes like stacked on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts straight into Sylvie and Loki approaching the Citadel, which is, I don't know, like, do you want to theorize right now what all the cracks mean? Because did you know, like, the whole building was like cracked to pieces, and then his time watch was like cracked as well. And I don't know whether the idea was supposed to be like he'd literally pieced this together from lots of different multiverse, like lots of different universes and stuff like that. But like, so I didn't.
It's interesting that you bring that up. So I can't remember the actual terminology, and I could be butchering this, but I think it's called kisushi or something along this lines. But it's a Japanese terminology, and the idea is that when pottery breaks, it's pieced together and glued together with gold.
Oh,
so
really?
The idea that it's stronger than it ever was before, if you know what I mean. So it's based on like Japanese sort of pottery and tea sets and things of that nature.
Oh, that is awesome! I love that idea. That is amazing. Oh,
yeah,
I hope that's what that was. Yeah, that's very cool, man.
Yeah, so it's a cool concept that, like you say, maybe it is, because I think one of the production designers or something mentions that the idea is that it's supposed to be made out of the meteor or asteroid that it currently sits on. So
oh, right, okay,
it's supposed to be built from it, but it's like you say, I get the impression as well that it's variations of that citadel that have come together, and it's become stronger in some sort of sense.
Yeah, so I mean, when Loki and Sylvie enter this lighthouse mansion place, the first thing that they get greeted by is a jump scare from Miss Minutes, which made me like wet myself in my seat when she just appeared out of nowhere.
I was nearly sick as well, because I was like, oh my god, he was right. It is Miss Minutes. Why did I think it was Kang? Like,
no, but I'm still sticking by my theory that Miss Minutes is a variant of an AI program that we've seen already.
Yeah,
I still think she's Ultron. I really do. I think she's a different version of Ultron from another, universe that has been utilized by Kang. Yeah. But it could be Jarvis, it could be Friday. But there's just something about it that is like she's got the manipulation and the calculus to be someone like Ultron, and then it makes 100% sense, because like Ultron's mission was to safeguard humanity, and what better way to safeguard them than by protecting the entire universe with this timeline mission. That's my thought. We'll see. We didn't get any. I will say this: we did not get any answers to Miss Minutes. We still don't have an answer as to what she is or what her purpose is. But I guess that is an outstanding question. So there are a couple of outstanding questions from Loki episode 6. That was kind of wrong of me to say that. There was just like what happens to Loki's, but we don't really know who Miss Minutes was, if she is just a computer program, or if there's someone behind the mask. We don't know why she works with He Who Remains, as she refers to her. So I think that basically they walk in, she offers them an incredible deal, which is very interesting, where they will basically get to have Sylvie and Loki will get to have everything they've ever wanted. Sorry, my Discord's going off at the same time. My apologies if you can hear that, guys, coming back through. They will get to have everything they've ever wanted. So for Sylvie, it is basically a life, because she got taken when she was very young. For our Loki, it is, well, to kill Thanos, to rule the universe, to use the Infinity Gauntlet, to have all of it. And I think it's a testament to this series that the part that made him sad and the amazing, like, oh my God, I'll tell you what, one thing that isn't talked about enough, the music in this series is amazing. It is so good. I don't know who did the score for it, but man, they deserve an award because it is brilliant. Like
I
that
really
piece,
like the theme as well. I really like the theme song of this.
Yeah, the theme of it is amazing, and the piece of I need to work out I need to look up who it was in a second, but the kind of like Asgardian violin music that plays when Loki is remembering his past, or when he's seeing his mother dying and stuff like that. It makes me weep, man. It's like, it's so beautifully done. Like, it is incredible. And for a comic book show, it's like you don't expect it to have that kind of, like, it's just so good. But that music plays when he's reminded that he could see his whole family again, and he visibly gets sad. And like, I think that shows like how much of a journey the character has been on, to the point where he's at now, where at the beginning of this he didn't care about anyone but himself. Now he actually cares. Like, now he actually cares, including Sylvie. He actually cares about other people.
And that was his whole I can't say it now. Motive on the first episode was to meet the timekeepers, struck up a bargain, sort of scenario.
Take over.
Yeah,
take over. Yeah. So anyway, they reject that. Sylvie's on a path of vengeance. Loki just wants to be by Sylvie. Mm-hmm. And then we finally meet He Who Remains behind all of it. And it's Jonathan Majors. And he's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is amazing. And I have to say as well, this is going to be a little bit weird, but I found his performance very like a Kanye interview. I mean, it fantastically acted. Like,
this is not the view shared by all members of the Undisputed Nerds Podcast.
But if you ever watch
Kanye interview, don't be ridiculous.
I instantly thought of the Radio 1 interview he had, where he talks about products, like if you go here and here, and then he was like, Lady Gaga is the CEO of Polaroid, but what does she know about cameras? I was like, it's that same energy I find. Like, he has all this information, but he's just like expressing bits and pieces at times, and yeah, I don't know.
He's cracked it, guys. Spoiler alert for the future. Miss Minutes revealed. Kim Kardashian. Okay, well, that's nice that you got that from it. I definitely did not get a Kanye vibe from it. I mean, it's just, like, talk about a tour de force. Like, it was amazing. We'll come. I just had a thought into my head, so remind me of it before we finish this, because I need to ask you a question about it. But we'll talk about it first. So anyway, he's not Kang. Just to be clear, guys, he is He Who Remains. So he is not Kang in this. This is not Kang that we are talking to. This is He Who Remains. He Who Remains is a variant of the entity that is also known as Kang. Because, I mean, I guess, so Kang in the books is Nathaniel Richards, isn't he? It's a descendant of Reed Richards in the year
31, the 31st century.
Yes, in the 31st century. So he's a descendant of Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four. I mean, he is ultra intelligent. Like, we're talking like beyond genius level intelligence, like super, super, super intelligent. I believe he's Iron Lad as well. Is it in the 31st century that he becomes Iron Lad?
Yeah, so there's this story where Kang visits his younger self and is like, look at all the great stuff I've done. And the younger version of him is disgusted so much, he was like, I'm not going to become that, and becomes Iron Lad. And
that was
going to fight his future.
Yes. But he's, I mean, I think what it looks like they're going to do is, because in the comics it gets quite timey-wimey, because Kang goes back in time to be the ruler of like ancient Egypt, or a pharaoh in ancient Egypt, and then he goes forward in time and becomes like the Scarlet Centurion. Like he's basically he is literally a conqueror of time. The idea is that he goes to different points in time and the Avengers have to stop him. I think they're going to try and avoid that with the MCU by saying this is that was the Kang of a reality.
Yeah,
Kang the Conqueror is he's a conqueror of a reality. There is Immortus is in another reality. There is Iron Lad in another reality. There is the
Ramatut is
Ramatut. That's it. That's it. Yes. Yeah. So I think what's going to happen is they're basically, because what happens after this, when they meet him for the first time, Sylvie tries to kill him a couple of times. He's already knows all that's going to happen, because this has already all been written up to a certain point. So he knows everything. Like he literally knows everything up to a certain point, and the certain point is a decision point in time between the two Lokis that we'll get to. But he basically the episode, when you talk about it on paper, there's actually not much to discuss in the episode, because it is literally just an exposition dump of, this is He Who Remains. He built the TVA. He did it because there was a multiversal war, but the multiversal war was actually between variants of him. That was the whole point behind it, is that there are infinite numbers of universes where there is him, and they've all discovered the different universes at the same time. And to paraphrase him, not all of his variants are as kind as he is. And so the reason why the sacred timeline exists, it is actually truthfully to protect the universe, because he is the most dangerously intelligent person ever, and he's not always a nice boy.
I think the other element of it as well, which I thought was kind of cool, I think he's a combination of the two characters. I think he's both the He Who Remains and Immortus because of his outfit. Because
okay. Oh yes. Well, no, I thought yes, it was. You're right. Yeah.
I think they try to do similar with Sylvie, like combine two characters, sort of scenario.
Enchantress,
yeah. So it's cool. What was something I was going to mention? I like how he kind of mentions the Council of Kang, how they all meet each other, and he's like, it's kind of narcissist, because he's like, hey, you like your hair? Oh, I like your shoes. Like,
oh, I love your nose.
Yeah.
Yes, it was all nice until it wasn't, and then all hell breaks loose. I mean, it rings into the ego of the villain, because Kang is ego overload. Like he's he's a monster, in that there is it's ironic that the name is one of the most ridiculous names in Marvel Comics, but he is genuinely one of the biggest Avenger level threats that they have. Like he is, because it's different than Thanos, in the sense of, like, Thanos didn't want to rule. Thanos, in the books, Thanos just wanted to wipe out life to appease death, and obviously in the films, he just wanted to wipe out half the universe to save it from itself. But this Kang is not like that. Kang, depending on which variant, I guess now, but Kang just wants to rule. He wants control over everything. And like, he has the intelligence and the know-how to do it. I guess he's like a super, if you want to look at it in terms of kind of like MCU equivalents right now, I think they really pitched like Tony Stark to be genius level intelligence as far as like technology is concerned, and like understanding of science and science being a different form of magic. He was like a genius level in the MCU. Kang is above genius level Tony Stark. Like, he's above him, but like evil. So that's the scale of it. If you think of what Tony Stark would be like if he used all of the stuff that he used for Iron Man for bad, and then add on an extra layer of intelligence, that's Kang. I think they are trying to set up like he's going to be. It may be. I wouldn't be surprised if the version of Kang that we get, that's the really bad one, is actually a variant of Iron Lad. Because I think they're trying to juxtapose the idea of like, we've had Tony Stark for 10 years and he's been this benevolent super genius who wants to help the world, even though he's got a ridiculous ego, but he always wants to do the right thing. Well, now we're going to take it and you're going to have a guy who is just as intelligent as Tony Stark, if not more so. And he's an absolute... and he just wants to conquer everything. And let's see how the Avengers deal with this. And without Tony Stark, because it's interesting that Tony Stark was the one who discovered time travel in Endgame. And Kang is all about time travel.
I guess it raises some questions about who is going to be the next sort of big genius, because, well, we know Fantastic Four's coming, but that's not exactly anytime soon. So is it going to be...
So the first thing I want to say about this is that well, let's just carry on a little bit. So basically he explains obviously that there's multiple versions of him and they're not all good. There are really, really horrible people there. So we immediately get the sense of the threat of like, okay, this is what we've been waiting for. Like, this is the next Thanos. This is the next bad, because whoever this guy is, he's been established that the TVA has power above the known universe, because Infinity Stones mean nothing there, which Infinity Stones have been the most powerful thing in the universe up to that point. So this guy operates on a whole nother level of power. And right now he's a crazy whacked out old guy who just wants to keep everything the same. So if there's a evil version of him who is mad and just wants to take over everything, this is the big bad. So we immediately know what the stakes are, and then we get an amazing confrontation between Sylvie and Loki, where Loki understands bizarrely, and this is why I think they've done a great job turning Loki into the perfect anti-hero, because Loki actually understands and believes him, because he's such a liar himself. He can tell when people are lying and when they aren't. And so he understands that if you kill him, sorry, I've skipped a bit. He Who Remains gives them two options. One is to kill him, and then all the variants of him will be unleashed, and he will just basically, it will run amok, and the secret war will kick off, and everything will be bad. Or they can multiverse of madness, precisely. Or they can leave him in place until he naturally dies, and they can take over from him and make the decisions to rule the universe. He never really explains why them, though.
I think he says he's been doing this for a long time, and I think he said like he's laid out the path. So
you just walk down it,
yeah, and he says like, but the two of you walked down it. So I assume like he always knew a Loki, because it goes back to the TVA saying like they always go after Lokis. So I guess he knew it was a Loki, but which Loki?
Fair enough. Anyway, the decision is made. Sylvie's going to kill him no matter what happens. Loki tries to save him. Loki shows to us that he really does care for Sylvie above everything else, above the throne, above everything. She doesn't trust anyone, and he cannot be trusted by anyone. And so it's this horrible, like, he's in love with this person, and it's just a horrible thing that she just can't see past her vengeance. It's interesting. I was watching Civil War the other day, and by the end of it, Black Panther, when he's getting Zemo, I nearly called him Nemo. When he's getting Zemo, he realizes what has happened during the film, what Zemo has become, and he says, "Vengeance has consumed you." And I thought about that exact line when we watched Sylvie, because it doesn't matter about anything else in the world, no matter how she feels about Loki, about how she feels about anything, she just, like, vengeance has completely consumed her. And it's an interesting theme that they seem to be going with in the Marvel universe, where it's like, if you want to get revenge on someone, it will consume you completely and just wipe you out, basically. So anyway, she manages to ditch Loki off after they kiss. Like, he's all like, "Oh, I love you," and then she's like, "Tough," and then kicks him through a hole. And then she stabs him in the chest. Now, this then breaks the timeline, and then everything goes wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Absolutely, yeah.
Go on, Zane. You talk for a bit.
I was just going to say, there's the scene with Ramona, where she's packing up documents and bits and pieces, and she gets what's the word I'm looking for?
Confronted.
Perfect. Yeah. By
Mobius. Not Morpheus. Mobius.
Mobius. And it's an interesting little scene because by this point, Miss Minutes is like giving her some data from, let's say, Kang. And she leaves in a portal, and there's no sort of explanation or anything. She just says, like, I think she says something along the lines like, I'm doing this for free will or something.
I'm going in search of free will.
Yeah.
My theory on that is that I think that she finds another Kang.
Yeah.
And I think it's the one that's eventually... So the end of the episode basically is he who remains dies. He also... I'm trying to remember what the first... I was just looking it up, trying to find it, but there's an amazing bit where he says, see you soon, and then winks at her after he gets stabbed. That's a callback, because there's a part in the series. There's a part in the series which is Sylvie, and I can't remember what is happening. Whether it's in basically in one of the episodes previously, there is an audio cue that happens when she's doing a specific thing, and the background audio cue, you can hear somebody say, "See you soon."
Oh, really?
And it's the same thing that he says to her when she stabs him and winks, which is why what I was going to say was, I think this is an infinite loop. I think that this was always going to happen the way it was supposed to happen. I think that he was lying, and I think Loki couldn't pick up on it because, again, this guy is operating on a different level to the point where the master manipulator can't even tell when he's being manipulated. And I think that he always wanted to get stabbed because I think this is the point where at the end of time where everything restarts and goes back again, which is why he said, see you soon, because he knows that this is all just going to happen again. I think it's a Matrix, like we're in an infinite loop and this is like the sixth incarnation kind of thing. Because if you also notice in the mansion that they go to, when they walk in, there's timekeeper statues. And there's 4 of them, and one of them has been destroyed and never repaired.
Yeah.
Why?
Apparently, like I saw a theory that said the 3 statues are supposed to be the 3 animatronics that Sylvie killed.
Yeah, they are. They're the timekeepers. But my point is that why was one of them destroyed? If they're just animatronics, but you know what I mean. It's a bit weird.
One thing I wanted to touch on just quickly is I don't know if you've seen or heard this already, but there's quite a lot of like biblical themes in his conversation with them. So like, as you mentioned before, Miss Minutes turning up and giving them the choice is supposed to be kind of like similar sort of symmetry to the snake approaching Adam and Eve, him having apple, almost playing the sort of devilish role and such, giving them, like you say, the ultimatum and whatnot, and then Loki getting kicked out of Eden at one point, and Eve committing the ultimate sin. So
yeah, I'm trying to find reference to that see you soon thing. My apologies, guys. If you look it up, I know that New Rockstars definitely mentioned it in their breakdown video, but yeah, you'll see what I mean by that. It is amazing. Like, I was like, that is so creepily cool. I love it. So I guess like the very end of the episode is that Loki has been returned to the TVA, and he goes and finds Mobius after an insurrection has happened, basically. So as Zane was saying, when Ravonna goes in search of freedom, it's because the TVA has been turned, I guess, or they are made aware that they are all variants, and so it's basically all falling apart. So Ravonna leaves to search for her own free will. So we see Mobius, and we see what is it, Agent 19 or whatever it is, the lady who B19. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, one of them. The lady who had her mind reworked by Sylvie in the last couple of episodes, and Loki's trying to get help, and they don't recognize him. They don't know who he is. They don't know what's going on. And then Loki notices that the giant statue of the Timekeepers that was in the TVA lobby is now replaced, and it is Kang's statue, which means that Kang has come and he has conquered. So the timeline has already been rewritten, is effectively what's going on.
This is like Tom Hiddleston's best Planet of the Apes moment. You know, his shot.
He's gone full Wahlberg.
Just looking at the statue, and then it cuts to the statue, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. Like, you blew it up, you monsters!
They were here all along.
So, moving forward, then. So I wanted to say, I've spoken to a couple of people about this, and I've said this because they were saying, oh, it's kind of a weird reveal that they're just gonna. I don't see him as being a big bad, because they're just gonna sew it all up in Doctor Strange, aren't they? And I'm like, this is gonna go on for a long time. Thanos was introduced. Let's just rewind time a little bit, guys. Infinity War and Endgame came out in 2018, respectively.
Sure.
Thanos was introduced in Avengers in 2012.
Yeah.
That is a good 7-8 years before they got round to dealing with the Mad Titan.
Yeah.
This is a Thanos level baddie we're talking about here. Kang is not a I hate saying this. Kang is not a Red Skull. He's not going to be one and done.
Yeah. He's not a villain of the week.
He is not villain of the week, precisely. He's not a Ronin, So this is going to go on a long time. Quantumania doesn't come out until 2023.
Yeah.
He is Jonathan Majors is going to be in Quantumania. It's confirmed.
Yeah.
He's going to be in that. He ain't going, and this was an amazing performance by Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
But we'll never see this performance again, because he ain't going to be this version of the character the next time you see him, because that's the whole point of it. The next Kang we see is going to be properly terrifying, like genuinely really scary, because the guy is worse than Thanos in that regard.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen is we won't see anything. He won't be in. If he is in Multiverse of Madness, he'll be in it for like a cameo or like an after credits scene.
I reckon,
yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. He won't be in it much. It's going to focus on Doctor Strange trying to fix things with Scarlet Witch. That's what's going to happen. Like 100%. It'd be interesting to see if he manages to fix multiple realities, and then we're left with what was at the beginning of the episode, where it was the two universes side by side. It makes me wonder if maybe Doctor Strange will fix everything apart from these two universes, and it just so happens that the other universe to ours is the one that's got bad Kang in it.
I see what you mean.
Because the thing is, I don't know how you can keep going with like having multiple inverses and crazy stuff happening all over the place without there being some kind of ramifications to the larger MCU as a whole. It would make a lot cleaner sense to just have it as two, and then you've got these. Like, it could be that this universe has mutants and the Fantastic Four in it, Fox, and then this and evil Kang. But do you know what I mean? I just feel like it would be a lot neater if you're only dealing with.
I seen a lot. Well, I say a lot. I seen a few theories that maybe it was the Sony universe.
Oh yeah, it could be.
And then the MCU. So the idea is that that's how you get your Venoms.
Yeah.
Morpheus and
well, I mean, we definitely know now that No Way Home is going to be all different Spider-Men and Spider-Man villains. That's definitely going to happen. Look how happy you are when I say that. And he's going to have a cool Doctor Strange suit in it, which is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
Doctor Strange is going to be all about multiverse of madness. My question is that insanity and chaos is fine, and it's not. Well, I mean, sorry. Let me rephrase that so that somebody doesn't take it out of context. In the MCU, insanity and chaos is fine, but it can't keep going. You can't have wild, crazy things all the time, because I will revert you back to the conversation that you and I have had previously about how the hell do you have god level events happening, and one of your main heroes is a guy with wings.
Yeah.
You can't. There's no logical fighting that. There's no way around it. Even it was pushing, like they had to have Cap had to have Mjolnir in order to go toe to toe with Thanos.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. That when you look at power creep and stuff like that, it's just not going to work. So, and a lot of the Avengers now, you've got Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, Thor, maybe Hulk, possibly. Name me another Avenger that is power level up there to deal with major threats and is not like a street level.
I would imagine like
Vision,
White
I guess.
Vision. Yeah. Bar that, I can't think of anything that could probably take on cosmic threats like head on.
Exactly.
But it's the house
even the Guardians. Even the Guardians are not like cosmic. You know what I mean? They're like they're still kind of just guys. Gamora is like the deadliest woman in the world. In the universe. Sorry, I get that, but like it's. That's why I don't know. I still like my theory of like maybe they're building up two Avengers teams. One's going to be a cosmic universe level threat team, and then the other one's going to be ground level dealing with Earth threat. I wonder how much they're going to make Earth a central point to the multiverse or the universe, because there's normally they shoot, like I know in DC they have the Earth that is in the comics is the anchor point for all 52 universes that exist. So if that Earth falls, everything falls, basically. That's why everything keeps happening on this Earth and stuff like that, because they're going to have to start thinking about reasons as to why Earth keeps getting attacked.
I watched an interview with Kevin Feige on Rotten Tomatoes, and he said that they're very much trying to keep with the idea that, yes, there'll be cosmic, things happening, but at the same time they want to stay true to Marvel by having this idea that you could look outside your window and still see something happen. So your Spider-Mans and
okay,
level sort of thing.
I suppose Spider-Man can kind of deal with okay, fair enough. I still like that idea that they're gonna have two teams, one in the up in the ether. Maybe that's what they'll turn the Guardians into. Maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy will be like the cosmic, world-eating threats kind of thing, and then the Avengers will be Earthbound Avengers. I don't know. What I'm saying is they're writing themselves into a dilemma here with power creep, because when you have a villain who is seemingly more powerful than the Infinity Gauntlet. And it took everything they had to stop the Infinity Gauntlet. And I would argue that I don't know whether you feel this, right? But since Iron Man and Captain America has gone, it really genuinely does feel like there is like a hole in the MCU. It does feel like there's stuff missing. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't feel as nice anymore. I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
I think the theory I have is that I think they did lean into those characters very heavily, especially in the final part of it. And I think they realize that now by having these TV shows to kind of back up the characters that they should have backed a little bit while ago. So, Wanda being a prime example. Like every household's going to know Wanda now.
But I don't like Wanda. She's a jerk. I'm saying it now. Again, come at me. I've been very confrontational today, but like,
I know you want all the heat, don't you?
Wanda's a jerk. I'm saying it now. Wow. She's an absolute jerk. She's only in for herself. Who cares? You got Vision back. Go and find White Vision. Stop being so miserable. Jeez. God, a lot of people don't get that second chance.
One thing I wanted to touch, well, there's actually two things. I'll touch on this quickly. So with Immortus or Kang's speech, he actually spoke in the same sort of layouts of writing for TV shows and movies. So he mentions like the hero's journey, which is actually like a TV trope.
Yes,
and then, you know, there's the threshold where something happens to progress the story sort of thing. So that was really cool that they kind of incorporate. It's like a meta talking sort of thing. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is we've got some upcoming Marvel projects, and I want to know, do you think this will affect those products, or do you think they'll be self-contained, or, you know?
We definitely can. Yeah, we definitely can. I want to mention two things before we do that. So, first of all, based on what we've seen now, and we've confirmed that He Who Remains and all this Kang stuff, Quantumania, I am predicting it now that when in Ant-Man and Wasp, when he went through the quantum realm, there was a city that was like in a bottle. I am I'm going out on a limb now, and I'm going to guarantee that's Chronopolis. That is Kang's holding place for all of his time capturing stuff. I'm calling it now. Second thing, this is a wild out there theory.
Ooh.
So here you go. Okay. And you know what it's going to concern. It's going to concern our favorite Prozac party man, Richard E. Grant.
Yeah.
I think he's still Mephisto. I really do think he's still Mephisto. The reason why I think this is that I think Mephisto was trapped. I think he was stuck where he was by the He Who Remains, because I think he locked down all dimensions and did the sacred timeline. That's the whole point.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that I think he just saw Loki as an outlet to be Loki, to pretend to be Loki, because the power level of Loki was off the chain, and him doing that and him sacrificing himself, effectively allowed them to continue their journey and schism all of these realities, aka unleash Mephisto's realm. So I think when he said glorious purpose, I think it's because he knew that he was going to be able to get free of the problem, like whether it was like an avatar of Mephisto, or whether it was Mephisto himself who got eaten by Goliath. I think that he is such a good actor. Like I can't deal with the fact that I can't. Yeah. I can't let go of the idea that he's just gone in one episode, you know. Plus, there's been like shots of him with Owen Wilson backstage, like getting on with Owen Wilson and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like he obviously is like friendly with a lot of people now in Marvel. Then they're gonna reuse him again. It's just for what? So yeah, I'm sticking my flag with the theory of like whether it's Mephisto or not, whether it's Nightmare or someone more, but like there's something going on with that. There's more to it. There's more to it. There has to be. There has to be, please. Right, you were going to go through the thing with me.
Yeah, we got some upcoming Marvel projects.
Say it like a normal person.
I think the easiest one is What If.
What you want me to? So sorry, you want me to tell? Well, actually, yeah. Before I forget, because you were supposed to remind me and you didn't. On a scale of with Nail and I to Spice World, where was Jonathan Majors on the Richard E. Grant scale of acting?
Ooh,
with his He Who Remains.
I'm gonna look up Richard E. Grant movies quickly.
I think he was definitely approaching Spice World.
Yeah.
Do you know that Richard E. Grant did a bit of like pop poetry as well? Did you know that?
No.
I'm gonna find it and send it to you later. Yeah, he does this weird, like it's he's reading this piece of poetry, whether it's either from Shakespeare or whether it's from something else or something he's written, but then it's got like a backing track on it.
That's incredible.
I'll find it.
I didn't know he was in Downton Abbey.
Yeah, of course he is. Sorry, I'm sorry. Can we just say? I think you'll find it hard pressed to find a English thespian that has not been in Downton Abbey.
Yeah, I would say he was on the cusp of reading Spice World.
Yeah, he was definitely approaching Spice World. I need to find this. I'm gonna have to do a deep dive into Rich D. Grant later, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. As soon as I see it, I'll know it and I'll send it to you. But yeah, it is quite extraordinary. Okay, so I think he was. I personally think he was getting there.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was quite there yet. I think he was. I think. Let's have a look. He wasn't, because I always forget he was in Logan as well. Do you remember he was in Logan?
Yeah. I just noticed that as well. I was like, oh yeah, he was in Logan.
I think he was approaching Spice World, but I think, as we've been sticking with it this evening, I think he was just about around the Dr. Simeon, the Great Intelligence, Richard E. Grant that was in Doctor Who. I think that's about the level of ham that he was, and it was great. I'm gonna have to do something later. I don't think Richard E. Grant's on Instagram, but I'm gonna have to make him aware that we've got a Richard E. Grant scale. We're gonna have to do it. I need to get in touch with him and just try and send something to his fan page or something like that. Just be like, dear Mr. Grant, you are such an esteemed actor in our eyes that we have created a Richard E. Grant acting scale where we measure the acting talent of actors in things against your famous films. The most extreme example of this being Spice World, the movie.
We rate them based on your performances of previous films.
Can you please tell us, were you on Prozac when you did that film? Right. Okay, come on then. So, what if? Yes, obviously that will be probably the one massive ramification from this event, because we'll see all the different universes and all the different things that can happen. My question to you is on that. Do an early prediction for it. Will events that play out in What If have ramifications in the greater MCU as a whole after it? Or is this just going to be a one-shot thing where we see a load of individual stories?
I think, based on what's popular, as terrible as that sounds, I think
Richard D. Grant?
I think they'll use this as a measuring stick. I know ever since Black Panther, people are like, I will really want to see Killmonger, but I don't think the Killmonger comic book did particularly well. So I guess they'll be like, do people really want Killmonger? Let's have a look to see how many people talk about it when he saves Tony. But actually, one thing I do think we might get, or will we, based on the Spider-Man Hot Toys figure that has all the runes and the magic symbols and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a Supreme Spider-Man, Sorcerer Supreme Spider-Man in What If.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's in What If, isn't it? It's not in the actual film, because in the actual film, somebody said today, actually, I was reading a thing where they said that the new black armor that they've got for Spider-Man in No Way Home actually looks quite Wakandan. It looks quite like Black Panther's suit.
Interesting.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I personally don't think that What If will have any ramifications moving forward into the greater MCU. I think it's just going to be this cool little side piece that they go, hey, look at this, guys. What if? I don't think anything will come out of it. The only thing that might come out of it is Peggy Carter being included as in the main universe. Sure. But that's a very big stretch. I can't really see that.
More Watu. I guess that's the most.
Watu, yes, that is true. Yes.
Watching.
Okay, keep going.
So we have. Let's do the movies. So we got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings coming up.
Nope, nothing. Won't have anything to do with it.
Eternals?
Street level. So it won't have anything to do with it. May get an we may get an after credit scene, but I would imagine based on Black Widow, the after credit scene to be much more in line with like the Thunderbolts and who's getting recruited for the Thunderbolts. Probably Abomination.
Yeah.
If he's not a hologram, as my theory was.
So Feige confirmed that it is Abomination in.
Is it actually him?
Yeah, in the Rotten Tomato interview, he said it is Abomination.
Damn you, Feige!
Weird.
Damn you, Feige, ruining my themes.
Eternals.
I don't think so. I don't think so because I think that it's going to be it's an origin story for the Eternals, which they may have reference because it's when they first arrive, isn't it? Yeah. And the idea is they've been living here for years. See, this is what I was talking about when it comes to power creep. Because I guess the Eternals are like the power creep that it takes to take down Kang. But like, it just makes this Avengers superfluous. But it would be interesting if we get I think I've said this before, it'd be interesting if we get like a Kang ancient Egypt nod when they come to Earth. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool actually.
So we'll see what happens. It's an interesting. Actually, I've just noticed that all the black stuff that was like laced with gold in that you talked about, which I'm not going to try and butcher the name of it, but it looked very similar. Like the obsidian stuff that it looked very similar to the Eternal ship.
Ooh, interesting.
That we saw in the trailer. You see that black ship that's just like a wedge. The obsidian in that looked quite similar to what Kang was using. Sorry, He Who Remains was using.
I think these are kind of given. Spider-Man No Way Home.
No, nothing to do with it. Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
In the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. 100%.
Thor Love and Thunder.
Now, okay. So here's where we get into what is the release date of Love and Thunder? Is it 2023?
US date is May 6th, 2022. Same for the UK and
next year. It's less than a year until Love and Thunder's out.
Yeah, 2020.
What the hell? My God. Okay. Man, the world is exploding quicker than I thought. I think if Loki season 2 happens before Love and Thunder comes out, then yes, I think we will see a bit of the ramifications of it, because I really think they're keeping Tom Hiddleston around. I really do, and I think he's actually going to become. I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in something like the Guardians of the Galaxy, or like the. I can just he can't go in the Avengers clearly, but like Thor will discover him. He will be in. I think he will be in Love and Thunder, is what I'm saying to you. I think he'll definitely be in it. He's still alive. Like Loki doesn't die, and he's inextricably linked to Thor. He's got to be in it. Like he will. They've already done. Look, Marvel have proven that they're absolute liars. And, Jonathan Majors has turned up in Loki without any casting listings or whatsoever. He just showed up.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you do that with Tom Hiddleston? I mean, come on. It's definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. So I think a little bit, probably not as multiversal, but a little bit.
Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
I truthfully don't know, because I don't know what it's going to be about. The
biggest rumor is Namor and Atlantis.
Yeah.
So Wakanda versus Atlantis.
Yeah. No, Namor's one of my least interesting characters in the MCU. I don't like him. Aquaman, I quite like Aquaman, but I don't like Namor. I think he's pretty dull and just an a-hole as well.
Yeah. Well, he needs the Fantastic Four to be an a-hole too, doesn't he? Really.
Precisely. I think it's. Yeah. If it's, you're right. If What If goes well and it turns out like Killmonger and stuff might come back, and then Killmonger becomes Black Panther, I guess. But like, I think it'll be. I still like the idea that you have a brains and brawn, and you have M'Baku becoming the brawn Black Panther, and you have Shuri becoming the brains Black Panther. I still like that idea, but whether they'll go with it or not, I don't know. But yeah, can't really tell for Black Panther. It's a difficult one to read.
Yeah. The Marvels. So this is a team-up movie of Carol.
And Miz. I mean that was not
as well.
That was not a sigh of like, I don't know what it would be. That was a sigh of, do I care? I don't particularly care. Captain, they have done nothing. They've done one movie where Captain Marvel was like very strong against some Kree.
Yeah.
Kree, yeah. No, Skrulls. It was Skrulls. No, wait, she was trying to save Skrulls, and it was against the Kree.
Skrulls. Yeah.
God, that goes to show how much I cared about that movie. They've done nothing to make me like Captain Marvel, like in the MCU. Like, she's just not a likable character right now. I don't care. I just don't care about her enough. Like, maybe if they start, she's really the thing I really dislike about it. I don't know whether it's this Brie Olsen's like portrayal of it, or whether it's just. Did I say Brie Olsen? Brie Larson.
Larson, yeah.
Yeah, I think I said Olsen. Sorry, I'm thinking about Elizabeth Olsen again. I think I don't know whether this is a portrayal choice by her or whether it's just how in the MCU they want, like how Feige wants it to do it. But she's really aloof and like kind of like standoffish. So like there's no warmth to Captain Marvel at all. Like Carol Danvers in the books is quite she's really powerful, but like she's quite welcoming and warming. You know, it's like she's a nice figure, and she's not come across that way at all in the MCU, at least to me. She just feels really like cold and like, I'm better than you, like I'm better than all of you, and don't tell me what to do because, you know, I'll just go and do what I want. And it's just like, dude, you suck. Wow. So like when they tell me they're going to do a Marvels film,
yeah, it's been a very
sorry, I shrugged for those who are listening.
Yeah, it's been a very Marmite sort of reaction because, well, like I don't know if it is just because of the nature of the first movie as well, because obviously she didn't know who she is, and it's kind of like a weird journey of self-discovery because we're learning with her. But
she really should have been. Yeah, she really should have been in Endgame more. She really should have been. They missed the boat on that big time. Yeah. Having her right at the beginning and then right at the end, awful. Really, really bad. Like, because it's just, it doesn't. Why couldn't they have gone, like, if you want to do the Space Stone and stuff, like, you know, if you can't, I understand. Okay, sorry, let me rephrase this because I'm thinking about it as I say it, and then it's making sense in my head why they did what they did. But if you could have quite easily gone back to when she got her powers. Yeah. You were time traveling. You're time traveling. You could have gone back to the Space Stone and seen some like character development after that. Do you know what I mean? Like that, like it would have been quite. And I just Captain Marvel is a wasted character right now. Is what I'm saying to you. I don't see her value. I think that they established her as being way too OP, way too. She's the character I missed. You see how easily forgettable she is. She's a character that could probably be a Kang level, like equal, like in terms of power. Yeah. But
I'm gonna shoot off these last ones. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Of course, he's already been confirmed to be in it.
Exactly. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. I think it'll depend on fallout from some of the other movies. Because I thought Thor was going to be in Guardians before he's in Love and Thunder.
I see. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if they do it different, because this is confirmed to be the last time this lineup of the Guardians will be on screen. So, which is why I'm thinking Loki might end up in the Guardians.
Yeah. And then the last one is Fantastic Four.
Do you really want me to answer that? You mean the Fantastic Four with the Richards family? And Nathaniel Richards is Kang. I mean, like, no, I don't think they'll talk about it at all.
Of course, we've got the TV shows like Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, Ironheart, Iron Wars, and that's it.
And a Captain America movie at some point, and a new Avengers movie at some point as well, because they will be doing them. It's just they haven't shown them yet. You know what Marvel are like. They'll flip up their release dates all over. There was supposed to be an Inhumans movie, remember? Where did that go? Ike Perlmutter, where did that go? A little hidden Easter egg that is a potential big Easter egg that I forgot to mention at the top of the episode. So when they're flying through, right at the beginning of the Loki episode, when you're hearing all those voices and they're flying through the timeline, we get a flash of a spaceship. So that spaceship has been confirmed to not be the Milano. It's confirmed to not be any kind of known spaceship in the MCU currently whatsoever. Nobody knows where it's come from. A lot of people are theorizing that is the Fantastic Four spaceship when they go and get their powers, when they get hit by the radiation beam that gives them their powers, which I thought was a really awesome little nod, because yes, that would 100% make sense to put that in there, because that's where Kang's from. That's his bloodline.
Yeah, so, definitely. I did, whilst we're on the subject of Fantastic Four, I saw a theory, I can't remember where, might be Reddit or something, but there was this one theory that what if the Fantastic Four got their powers from the quantum realm and not from like space? So because it's the similar idea that is it Janet Van
Dyne, I think, isn't it?
Janet Van Dyne.
That's right. Yes, she does, but the Fantastic Four are explorers. Like that is they are space explorers. They are cosmic explorers. Science. I think if you pin too much of it on quantum realms and Ant-Man, quantum, and all this other. Right now, the quantum realm is Ant-Man's realm kind of thing. Like that's an Ant-Man thing. It's very much associated with Ant-Man. I don't think that would work. This is one of the criticisms that's come out of some of the MCU stuff, is that Iron Man, a lot of the fallout from like future MCU things, a lot of it hinges on being an Iron Man related thing. Like, you look at Mysterio, you look at the Vulture and stuff. That's all because of Iron Man ramifications. Ultron, it's all because of Iron Man. And I think if you pin too much of it on one character, on one thing, it becomes like this kind of like, that's kind of like a one size fits all. Because if you do that, what's to say, mutants come out of the quantum realm? That's how the mutant gene is activated and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I much prefer the idea of this cosmic thing where it's, they have gone into space and they have been hit by cosmic rays, which has created them. The other side of this is that we have to consider is, so the Fantastic Four, Kang is obviously intricately wound in the Fantastic Four. So is Doctor Doom. And Doctor Doom is another very big bad. He is a big bad as well.
Yeah.
Do you bring him in with the Fantastic Four? How does that work? How do you do it? They have to be really careful. Marvel have to be super careful with the Fantastic Four, because they have been done so wrong so many times in the past. In my opinion, the only good Fantastic Four movie, the only okay Fantastic Four movie is the second one, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Okay.
It's the only one that's like I can sit and watch it and it's all right. It's not great. It's not great. Don't get me wrong, but it's all right. And that's the difficult thing, is you've got to. The casting is going to have to be on point for it, man.
Absolutely.
Especially if Reed is supposed to replace Tony as the new genius.
Yeah.
Then Also, by the way, Downey Jr. is definitely going to come back. 100%, he's going to come back at some point. They'll bring him back as a hologram. Probably in Armor Wars or something like that. He'll probably come back as a
I
hologram.
did wonder if it'd be for Ironheart or Iron Wars or something.
Yeah, probably.
But I don't know. I don't know. If I was betting, I probably wouldn't bet any money on it.
Oh, I would definitely.
Yeah.
Of course, it's Downey Jr. It's what they do. Chris Evans will be back as well at some point. I guarantee it. I guarantee he'll be back at some point. Yeah.
Interesting. I guess that's the episode.
Yeah. I'm genuinely sad it's over.
Yeah.
Like, I'm genuinely sad Loki's over. It's been fantastic. But, you know, what if next month?
What if? And then we've got Hawkeye later on in the year.
Yes.
Which, to be fair, I'm kind of really looking forward to because I really like the
Hawkeye's going to be great.
Comic that
yeah.
I guess it's loosely based on. So
yes. Hawkeye's going to be great. Yeah. I'm not excited about Eternals, which is in September, I think.
I don't think anyone is.
This could be the MCU's Inhumans.
It's terrible as a joke. I
know.
Really bad. Like,
I have to be honest with you. The War of Kings is one of my favorite comic books ever.
Yeah.
Which is the Inhumans finally reclaiming their birthright, which is the Kree Empire, and they start a war with the Shi'ar Empire.
Okay.
And at that point, it's Cyclops' brother. You know, Cyclops and Havoc. It's their brother Vulcan has married Empress, not Lilandra, but Deathbird. I can't remember what her name is, but basically, so Vulcan is the emperor of the Shi'ar, and Black Bolt is the emperor of the Kree, and it is a war, like a galactic war. And in that, Black Bolt is the most badass character you will ever see. Like, there's two times when I've seen Black Bolt in comics where I've just been like, I want him to be on screen. So like he basically screams at Vulcan. Spoiler alert, guys. He screams at Vulcan at one point, and he just disintegrates him with his voice. Like, literally just evaporates him. Right, and it was so badass. It was so badass. I'll have to lend it to you, Zane, next if I see you, or you can just read it online. But there's that time, and then the other time is when he's. I think it turns out not to be him because it turns out to be a Skrull in the end. But like, he's in Planet Hulk or World War Hulk.
I was going to say World War Hulk, yeah.
Yeah, and he fights him on the moon. Yeah. And he just whispers enough, and it shreds like half the moon. And Hulk is. That's what I love about that. That book is so amazing as well. But that's when Hulk. That's when I fell in love with Hulk, where he then leaps at him going, I don't want to hear a whisper. I want to hear you scream. And he just proceeds to beat the hell out of him. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah, that is so good.
So yeah, the Inhumans have been done dirty, man, by the MCU so far. Damn you, Perlmutter. Yeah,
it's a shame. As we were saying,
wow, it seems like I care more than you do. So there you go. Cool. Well done, everyone.
I haven't read enough Inhumans. It's only the like you say, World War Hulk or Planet Hulk omnibus. I saw that in, and I want to say, well, he was part of the Illuminati that jettisoned him to space, I think.
Yes. Who? Reed or Black Bolt?
Black Bolt. Sorry.
Yes, he was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he comes back after all the Illuminati to begin with.
Mm. So yeah, that was our episode. Not only on Loki.
It's a long one again. We did a long one.
We had a long episode.
I need to stop rambling, guys. I ramble too much. I'm sorry.
But we also mentioned what we think the future ramifications on the MCU. So if you think that we've missed anything, let us know in the comments down below. We'd like to know your thoughts and ideas where this could go.
Ideas.
We love ideas.
Each channel doing his Richard E. Grant, then you could see it.
As always, all of our links and everything else will be in the description down below. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at senpai_Zane. Of course, you can follow Gentlemanly Gamer on Twitch and on Instagram.
Oh, look at that. You're doing the plugs for me now, are you? Yeah. Twitch.tv/gentlemanly gamer. And I am also on Instagram now as gentlemanly gamer. So yes, come and drop me a follow and have a chat. I'll be happy to have some confrontations with some nerds. Bring in the heat.
Bring the heat. As always, thanks for tuning in. And we'll no doubt catch you on the next episode.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See you next week.